Welcome to the Westport Library. Today's program will begin momentarily. Supported by Verso Studios, created locally and shared with the world.
I would like to thank Bud and Roz Siegel, whose generous support makes Camp Explore possible.
Hey, welcome to Camp Explore. I'm Josh Burker, and I'm here to show you LightLogo. And I'm going to walk you through a few procedures that are going to give you a toolbox that you can work with to build your own designs and animations and realize your imagination. So let's get right to it. We're going to start at the most simple and just make the ring light up with 3 different colors. So we're going to package everything in a procedure called the startup. All of our procedures will start this way. We'll be lazy and we'll copy and paste this into future ones. So we'll say to start up, we're gonna reset to erase the ring. We'll hide the turtle so the white light isn't there. And then we're gonna start by running a procedure called RGB. When it's done running RGB, it's done. So we'll tell it to be end. Okay? And then to RGB, we need to tell the turtle what it's gonna do. So we'll set the color first to 0, which is red. Colors work like the rainbow. It's Roy G. Biv, so red is 0, for example. Then we need to make a move, so the turtle makes a mark. So we'll go forward 1. I'll be lazy, I'll copy this and paste it below. Next color I need is green. So if we use the numbers there, we could say it's 30, but it also knows the word green, okay? I'll be lazy again, copy these 2 lines, paste it, and I'll change the last color to blue. That's another word it knows, okay? We've got to make sure we end it with an end. So we have 2 procedures in that one document there. RGB, which is being called from startup. I'll save that, okay? I'm gonna save it as 01 RGB in my case. And then I need to switch over to LightLogo here, which I have open. I have my ring connected to my computer. I'll click the 3 dots to select that file that I just wrote, say open, and then I need to download it. Make sure it compiles and tells you it's downloaded, okay? And then we can tell it to run startup. When we do that, you'll notice the ring fills up with only 3 because I only told it to go forward 1. If we needed it to fill completely, we'd tell it to go forward 8. If I save that and re-download it, run startup, my ring is full of color, red, green, and blue. Awesome. So we've learned that moving the turtle leaves a mark. Great. What if we want only 2 colors and we want a pattern that repeats? Well, let's be lazy again. It always starts this way. So we'll copy this, make a new document, and paste that in. Okay? We're going to run a procedure called every other, and then we'll end. Okay, we need to define every other, and it's going to look like setting the color and moving forward 1, and then setting the color to a different color and moving forward 1, and ending. Here, you'll notice we're only going to move 2 pixels, so we need to repeat 12 times left bracket. What are we repeating? Every other, okay? Right bracket to end that repeat and end it. Okay, we'll save that file. I'm gonna save that as 02 every other, and then I'll load that onto my ring. Okay, here's 02 every other 2. Download it. Again, I can just run startup, and I'll get a pattern that fills the ring with 2 colors. So far, both of our designs have just been still, but we could tell the turtle, well, I'd like you to run forever. So loop, left bracket. What are you gonna loop? I'd like you to loop every other, but once you're done drawing every other, you should go wait 1/5 of a second. These are milliseconds, so 1,000 is 1 second, so 200 would be 1/5 of a second, and then go forward 1, and then we need to close that bracket. I'll save that, re-download it because I changed the file, and run it again, and now you'll notice that pattern actually animates around the ring, and it looks like it's turning, which is kind of cool. Okay, one thing I've seen people do is kind of touch every single pixel and make a rainbow. They step through that Roy G. Biv and set the color and make a move and work their way through the rainbow. And that's great and all, but as Brian Silverman, who's one of the programmers behind this, he'd like us to be a little lazier. And we can do that by using a variable. So again, I'm gonna copy my startup here and paste that into my new document. okay? And then we're gonna run a procedure called rainbow. And we'll end. We need to define what rainbow does. And we're gonna use this variable that's built in called box1 to control our color. So the first thing we need to do is set it up. So we'll set box1 to contain the number 0, okay? And then we're gonna repeat 24 times. We'll set the color to whatever value is currently in box1, and we'll go forward 1. Okay, there's 24 pixels and there's 100 numbers in our Roy G. Biv, right? We want to get through them all, and then aesthetically, it would be nice for me if we covered the entire rainbow within the ring without any repeat. So what we need to do is we need to set box1 to what box1 currently contains plus 4, because 4 times 24 is 96. That gets me pretty close to 100, and I'll have all of the colors of the rainbow in my ring without any repeats. I'll save this as 03 rainbow, and then load that onto the ring. Okay, when I run startup on that, it'll fill the ring with a gradiated rainbow all the way from red all the way up to pink, which is in the 90s there. Awesome, so we've been a little lazy and we've covered the entire ring with every color we can possibly color it in, which is awesome. Okay, so then we start to wonder, well, what if you don't want light, right? What if you needed a blank? So we could go back here and open up every other again and kind of repurpose this code. Let's take this code here and let's change every other to every blank other. Okay, we'll set the color and go forward 1, but then the next time I'm gonna pick up my pen and go forward 1, and then I gotta remember to put my pen back down. Okay, so it does the next red pixel there. Okay, so I'm gonna take out the animation for right now. I just want it to fill the ring, and I'm gonna save as this. We're at 04, every blank other, okay? And then I'm gonna load that on, 04, every blank other, okay? When I download that, whoops, every other undefined and startup, because I need to change that to every blank other, save it and download it. Okay, when I run that, I get this nice design that's red, blank, all the way around the ring. Now, here we run into a little issue if I tell it to loop, like we did with every other, to animate it, loop, drive me every blank other, wait a 1/5 of a second and go forward 1. If I save that and download it and run it, my ring then on the next step instantly fills with red, right? Because we've dragged the pen into that blank spot, and even though we picked up the pen, we're just stepping over a filled in pixel. So that means we actually need to use a different command. It's just a single change from pen up here to pen erase, which is PE. I'll save that, download it, right? And that single command then changes it so I get an animating color blank pattern that moves around the ring. So that's a valuable addition to our tool set, this pen erase command. Okay, one thing I really like about computers is they're really good at throwing random numbers out. So one idea here is let's randomize where the turtle goes, and we can even randomize what color the turtle is using, and let's make a little rainstorm even though it's beautiful out. So I'm gonna tell it to repeat 24 times rain, and then I'm gonna end, okay? Of course, we need to define rain, so we're gonna say to rain, and we're gonna use a couple new commands, okay? One command is we're gonna set our position, and we can tell it anywhere from 0 to 24. I want it to be random though, so I'm gonna tell it choose between numbers 0 and 23, okay? And then I'm gonna set my color, again, randomizing. Blues start at about 50 and go to about 70. And then we're gonna use another new command, stamp, which just changes the pixel that the turtle's currently standing on, that color, right? Okay, and then we can end. So we'll save this one as 05 rain, load that onto my ring, and I should get a little rainstorm that fills up my ring, okay? Now, one thing I notice is it all happens at once. So maybe what I wanna do is I wanna put in a wait and kind of randomize that, okay? Wait between 1/5 of a second and 400 milliseconds, re-download it, run it, and it should take the rain a little longer to then fall on the ring, okay? If it doesn't fill the ring, maybe play around with how many times it repeats, right? Because we are randomizing it. It may land on the same pixel a couple times, right? Change the number of repeats, you might eventually fill the ring. Awesome. Okay, there's one other idea that we could write a procedure called the better rain, and we can actually condense all of this into a single command called dot, right? There's a built-in primitive command called dot that takes 2 inputs. Where do you want to be? Well, I want to be anywhere on the ring. And what color do you want to be? Well, anywhere in the blues there, and end. If I change here in my startup procedure, if I change it from rain to better rain, save it and re-download it, I can run startup and I get the same procedure, but my code's just more efficient because I'm doing it in a single command, right? So, something to think about. Okay, I wanna show you one more thing. I wanna show you using a variable to control where a character is on the ring. So we're gonna copy our startup beginning again and paste it into a new document here, make it a little bigger for legibility, and then we're gonna tell it, we're gonna run this forever. This goldfish never needs to sleep. So what we're gonna tell it to do is we're gonna tell it to fill the ring with all blue, and then we're going to tell it to draw me goldfish, okay? And then we need to set my position to be box 1. And then we're going to, actually this needs to go first, sorry. We'll move this to before goldfish. It'll draw goldfish. And then we're gonna wait just a fraction of a second, and we're gonna update what's in box 1 by 1, okay? We'll do that. Okay, goldfish is just gonna be a short procedure that sets the color to yellow and goes forward 3. So we'll save this one as 06 goldfish. Okay, and if I load that onto my ring and download it, when I run it, I get a blue ring and a yellow goldfish that swims around the ring. And it goes forever because we told it to loop. Okay, so that's everything we covered in a day and a half of classes condensed down for you. Have fun with it, play around with it, debug it, and you'll get far.